Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Bounce with OJ. This is your number one podcast for everything basketball in Nigeria and across Africa. So, today is a very exciting day, and I'm going to be hosting one of the key basketball figures in Nigeria currently. He's a member of the NBBF, of the current NBBF board, and the military and paramilitary representative on the board, Mr. Okoro Victor. I think he's trying to join us. So, um, yeah, hoping to have him on soon. Sorry, we're supposed to start by 8 p.m., but an unplanned activity came up, which caused the delay. So, we started a bit late. Regardless, I believe strongly it's going to be an interesting session. So while we're waiting for him to join, um, feel free to leave a comment and don't forget to share the link so that many more people can join. Yes, I will also taking questions. So if there's any question you'd like to ask him or me, please do well to leave it in the comment section, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. Thank you. Something is wrong. Yeah, we're back and still waiting for our guests to join. Um, Thank you all for joining. Hello, good evening, sir. Hello, sir. Please, can you hear me? Hello? A bit of technical issues. Uh, he'll be back shortly, I believe. Um, so I heard there's Division Two. I don't know if it's qualifiers or if it's the tournament proper going on somewhere in the east. So I mean, I'm surprised to hear about that because up till now I've not seen, or maybe I missed it. I've not seen any official communication from the federation. So I don't even know if it's the official Division 2 or it's another Division 2. But if anyone has like details of the event, please do well to share and like highlight some pictures, so that we can do what we usually do. Just making people or giving people information about events happening around the country. Yeah. So if Division 2 is happening in your state or in your town, please give us the details. Yeah. So I like the feedback from the last session that we had. Shout out to Olumide Oyedeji for that very great and insightful session. I mean, it was enlightening, although people had contrary opinions to some of the things that he said, and I don't know. I don't know, but a couple of people were saying that I was one-sided in the conversation. Maybe like I was trying to project him or trying to be on his side. Well, here's the thing. This platform that I'm trying to build is beyond just one person. It's beyond even me, So it's bigger than trying to work for just one person. So regardless of how you see it or what your opinion is, this platform is for basketball. Yes, it's for basketball, and it's not politically motivated at all. Yes, it's not politically motivated. So the guests that I usually bring on is two things. A lot of people, I reach out to them to come on the show, and then some persons reach out and say we want to be on your show. Yeah, so it's still a growing platform, and we try to accommodate as much people as possible. Yeah. So, but there's no yardstick. There's no how do I say it? There's no parameters to say, oh, this person is too big or this person is too small to be on the show. So if you want to be on the podcast at any time, please feel free to reach out. I'm open to having you, and I believe everyone has a unique story to share. Yeah, so feel free to reach out, and if I reach out to you, please try to oblige for the greater call for a bigger purpose. Yeah, so it is, like I said, it's beyond me, and it's not just for me. Yeah. Our guest is trying to join, but I don't know, maybe network challenges from his end. But as soon as he comes on, we'll just start straight. Yeah. What else? Yeah. Who would you like to see next on the bounce? Let's have your opinion. And what would you like them to talk about, so that when I reach out to people that you want to see, I would be specific on what we want them to talk about. Good evening, sir.
You know,
Can you hear me clearly?
yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay. First, I'd like to say sorry for the stress. I know I've put you through some form of inconvenience this evening.
Well, it's Nigeria and our network, so it's fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. I mean, it's a privilege, and I'm really grateful for it.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah. So, because of time, I think we'll just go straight into it. So I'll start with some questions, and then others will come along the line. So first, I've heard stories about you, uh, your playing experience, as well as your role administrative on the administrative side, that's on the board currently. So, but I'd like to hear from you directly. Just a brief, like a summary. Just give us a picture of your playing days and your playing career, how long it lasted, where you played. Just to give us an image or paint a picture of you as a player in your days.
Okay. Thank you very much. You know, I also want to start by introducing myself. My name is Victor Okoro.
Yes.
You know, I started playing my basketball from Benue State. That is where
Oh
I
wow.
actually grew up. And then I started playing when I was in when I entered GSS 1 in Monte Gabriel's secondary school. You know,
Amazing.
and yes, MSP. That's what we call it. You know,
Yeah.
and then I think I grew from there. The first team I actually played for was a team called Stingers. We were
Stingers.
coached by yes, we were coached by Coach Ima Eme. Of blessed memories. My captain then used to be one Machi Shide.
Mm.
Oh, yes, and then a lot of us. I think out of all that sets, I I lasted longer than everybody else in playing basketball. Most of the other guys started working,
Mm.
they stopped playing. Some people had injuries, and that is where my basketball started. So I played for Martin Gabriels. I graduated into going to ABU Zaria, you know, where I also started playing, won some gold medals, was privileged to be part of the team that went to World University Games in China,
Mm.
where we came eighth, and then on the Nigeria scene, I played for almost all the clubs in Nigeria. As funny as that sounds, I started playing for Boko Giants that metamorphosized to Boko Hits, you know. And then I also played for Kada Stars. I played for Nanja Potters. I played
Mm.
for Pablo Rockets for a bit,
Yeah.
And then I went to Lagos Islanders, played for Ebon Comets, played for Union Bank,
Wow.
and I think the highlight of all this, was when I played for Union Bank. We won the championship. I went to inter the club championship. I think our set was the first set that actually won the Angolan team, the
Oh,
Petro
wow.
de Augusto. Yes, we had the likes of Edem on that team, Ejiki Ogbaja, Kevin Lambam, Tengwa Giang, Shola, and the likes. You know, I mean, at that time, those were the best of the best of the best,
Yeah.
players that we had
Yeah.
in the country. And then after then, I got work. I started working for Nigerian Civil Defense Corps.
Yeah.
Where we also tried to bring up a team, and then the team started playing in Division 1, and then later on played in the league. At one point they actually won the league to represent Nigeria for the first Basketball African League
Mm.
that was
Yes.
held. You know,
Yes.
yeah. Then it was home and away. So we played against the Moroccan team where we got the first draw ever in Nigerian basketball. You know,
I was there. I
we
was there. That was my first assignment as a statistician. That was my first experience being a statistician. I was a spotter for
okay.
2 million that day, so it was
Yeah,
really dramatic.
yes. And then, of course. So from there, I started venturing into administration. But
Yes.
long before then, even while I was playing, I was
Mhm.
privileged to have gone to some statistics courses in Benin Republic. I'm
Wow.
actually a FIBA certified statistician. Whole lot of people do not know. And then
Interesting.
that was like some 17 years ago.
Wow.
And then I started. I worked with the Nigerian Basketball Federation on the freelance. I
Mm.
used to go for competitions on my own. And go and help to become either a statistician, a table official.
So
For
you're a
free.
volunteer.
Yes, for free. So I mean, I have always found a way of going for all these competitions to either watch, be part of the, and this has cut across for the last 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so while I was playing, I was still trying to help out in some administrative work, and then I was privileged to have worked with a couple of presidents before now, and
Hmm.
then that helped me understand a whole lot of the workings of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, and then you know in 2017.
Yes.
Uh, yes, I'm just coming closer to home now. In 2017,
Hmm.
I was appointed the PA to the president after the elections in 2017. And then that is how I have continued working. And then in 2021, I contested and won for the seat of military and paramilitary rep. Which
Yes.
is my current position on the board right now.
Hmm.
So that has been, my journey in a small mixed way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like the part where you said even while you're playing, you were doing volunteering and doing other stuff around the game. I mean, it's something that is rare these days. Most players just play, and then after playing, in fact, when they try to venture into other areas of the sport, it's usually too late. So they find it
So,
very difficult to keep up. But I would encourage a lot of young players to try, even if you're not going into it fully, but they should at least be aware of how some of these things are being run so that when the need arises, they can easily transition from playing to maybe administration or officiating or other areas just like you did. Yeah. So just like you mentioned, you're currently the representative of military and paramilitary on the NBBF board. So I'd like to know more about your role, on the NBBF board. What's your job description and how have you been carrying out your duties so far?
so I'm going to try to talk about this in two different phases. So in the MBBF we have committees.
Okay.
And then yes, I happen to be in a couple of these committees. The Zenith
Okay.
League and the Division One committee. But before now, in 2017, I was assisting Coach Andrew, who was appointed as our league coordinator. In
Okay.
2017. So I was assisting him, and you know I studied under him to understand how to run the league, how the league is supposed to be run, the do's and don'ts during the running the leagues and the rest. And for most times, like I said, even before now, people have to look for people that will mentor them into in different things that they do.
Mm.
The issue, the problems that we do have right now is that people just want to wake up or stand up and become. They don't go through mentorship. I stayed under Coach Andrew for 4 years.
Hmm.
And then when people see me, they do not know that the reason why I'm there is because I'm learning.
Yes.
2017 and 2021, I was not a full-fledged board member.
Hmm.
Okay, so I was around, and then I was learning under Coach Andrew, who mentored me on how to run the league and how the real league should be run. And
Hmm.
so because he was league coordinator, he was almost everywhere, and then he made
Yes.
sure that I was also there. Even if we had to stay in the same room, and even if he had to feed me with his own money,
Hmm.
he made sure I was there to learn and then to do everything. So, after the first 1 year, he virtually allowed me, become the face, of the league. So he would sit back, and every night he would tell me, tomorrow morning, this is what we are going to do. And then he will list out everything that needs to be done, and then tell me 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, make sure you're on the court, make sure you get everything ready. By the time I come, I want to see that everything is ready. And
Hmm.
so that's how he mentored me. And a whole lot of people didn't understand that that was what was at play. So I'll come there and do what I needed to do. And then sometimes I will not do it right. And then he will come to correct me and tell me, no, this thing is not right. This is how it's supposed to be. And then we continued working, for that 4 years.
Hmm.
And then after that 4 years, you know, I was I was I was a little bit ripe to be able to go
Yes.
to different venues and then administer them, myself. You understand? So I have gone through all this mentorship at different levels. So
Yes.
when as a paramilitary rep, I looked into what had been happening with the former paramilitary reps, and then I understood, or I got to find out that people coming to the federation not knowing that they needed to do, or they needed to uplift the office
Which they
that they
represent.
represent.
Hmm.
Yes. So you don't wait for the federation to come and do something for you under the office that you're
You're
running.
heading.
You have Yes, you have to bring up your own ideas, look for your own how do I put it right now, investors, to
Hmm.
come and sponsor what you do.
Yeah.
Now I'm proud to say, for the first two editions of our paramilitary championship,
Yes.
I was privileged to have sponsored it by myself. Yeah, and then I had goodwill of plenty of the referees who came and offered their services, almost for free. Just to
Yeah.
make sure that we were able to, push this vision.
Yes.
And we have run that for 3 years. This edition is going to be the third one that would have been postponed because um, the civil service, they had awesome games, and then
Okay.
awesome games included most of the paramilitary.
Yes.
Yes, and then unfortunately for us, we had fixed our dates, and then they fixed theirs. But because we are under authority, we have to
Yes.
succumb and allow them do their awesome games. And then we are still planning for sometime later in this year for us to do the third edition of our paramilitary and military basketball championship. But I must say this: the reason why we have been able to do what we have done in the last 2 years
Hmm.
is because we have gotten the support of all the agencies, and then they have also understood that this is something that is new, and then they have supported us, and then made sure that even without funding, you know,
Yes.
they have looked beyond the funding part just to make sure that we have something going as a unit. as a force, because when we come together, it helps us to communicate. It helps us to understand what happens in the other agencies, and then we use that as a point of contact, to help what we call volunteers to
Yes.
get jobs in these agencies. Which was one of the main reasons why I pushed that we have to do this. And luckily
Yeah.
for us, or fortunately for us, a lot of kids have gotten jobs in these agencies because of what we do. So if for nothing, after now, those are the things that we're going to go home with. Knowing that we try to do our own best, and then we knowing that even if it's just two or three people, that was recognized through these agencies for them to get jobs. We know that plenty families and plenty mouths, have been fed through this
Yeah.
through this mean.
Yeah. So, as regards, getting jobs and stuff. I think if I may be wrong, but if I remember well, even your team, the NSCDC, I think they first participated in the Abuja City Basketball League. Then they got promoted to Division One, and then got to Division Two, and then I think a lot of them got jobs even before the military and paramilitary games started.
Yeah.
Um, for the Nigerian Army as well, I know a couple of people that got employed even before the military and paramilitary games. Um, yes, and Nigerian prisons as well, and then I think even customs. So, what's your relationship with organizations or institutions like City League that have been able to influence those kind of impact before the beginning of your military and paramilitary games? Maybe to even make it bigger to carry more youth into the system.
So like I said,
Yes,
I wear different hats.
yes,
So when we come to City League,
yes,
the organizers of the City Leagues, Mr. Fane and the rest,
yes,
are people that I have known, even before now.
yes,
And I remember that I also played the City League at one point in
yes,
time.
yes,
When Civil Defense won City League for the first time I played, I was part of the program, and so there's no way I can divert myself from the successes of what City League has been to the players in the North Central, not just in Abuja,
yes.
because City League has brought in a lot of players from different places. To one point, people from Lagos had to come and even come to Abuja
Participate
to
in the
make
city.
sure that,
Yes,
yes, so for me, I've always supported what they have done. I've always tried to be available, even if it's just to come and watch, and then lend my own moral support. Because there's nothing bigger in Abuja right now than City League.
yes,
And then even though that people like me wish that the organization is far more better than it is right now, you know, we can only say that City League has been a blessing to the people in the North Central.
mm,
And then if I have my way, you know, I'll keep on supporting what they do at different levels.
yes.
And like I said, as a member of the NBBF,
Mm-hmm.
my
Board.
own job, yes, my own job is to make sure that basketball is played and supported as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that's what we do on that capacity. So there's no comparison between what I do as a paramilitary rep and then what is
Mm-hmm.
done on the level of city league.
Yes.
Those are two different
Two separate.
levels.
Yeah.
Yes,
Entities.
and and we have just done ours for 3 years. City league has been there for like close to 7 to 10 years.
Yes.
Yes, so what we can only aspire to is to be as good as what City League has done.
Mm.
So that's why I'm saying that even if we have been just able to get one or two persons employed, because they played for
Yes.
us in our
Yes.
program. I
It's
mean,
success story.
yes, it's a success story. I know
Yes.
that most of the people that work for correctional services, okay, got their job because they won the city league.
Yes.
Yes, So on my own facts, my own success story after that is that
Yes.
we supported them to make sure that they came into the league in Division Two, became Division
Mm-hmm.
One champions, and now they are in the Premier League. I also know
Yeah.
the role I played for road safety to be in Division One right now. I know the
Mm-hmm.
role that I am playing for fire service to try to get
Yeah.
into the yes.
Mm.
So those are the things that I do under just to try to make sure that I support all these agencies that are willing and ready, and then and 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 whatever else I can do to make sure that they get a place in the Division Two or in the Division One. I try to push that for them.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, those are the things that when they say, "What did you do?" I can come out and say, "We have this, we have that, we did this for this person," and it might not be us physically doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but encouraging them and then showing them what to do, how to do it to make sure that they get to where they are supposed to get to.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for that response. I mean, it's um, enlightening, and so uh, there's something that has been. I feel like this is the best place to ask. Uh, I refer to you as the most popular board member. That's after the president, anyways, because you are the one that usually gets tagged on different social media posts, different comments, and people keep mentioning your name under anything that concerns the federation, and they say also your face is very popular wherever there's any federation activity, whether it's the men's league, the women's league, whether it's Division One, whether it's the senior national team, boys or girls, whether it's the junior national team, boys or girls, you're always there. Yeah. And I think I'm beginning to understand it from a perspective now that you mentioned that there are committees and you are in most of the committees. So, but I'm curious. I'm curious why, because since you are always everywhere, is it because the rest of the board members are dormant, or is it because they are inactive, or is it because they trust you to do the job better than any other person? So we'd like to know why it's always you that is. I mean, at some point you traveled with a 300 team, and they were saying you were the coach, and you had to explain that you're not the coach. You're like technical rep and all. So just give us throw more light on that.
Okay, so I think you've asked me various questions. I'll use the opportunity to just open up. And like you rightly said, when things are mostly not going well, I am
Yeah.
tagged.
Yes.
And then when things have gone well, nobody talks about me. You understand?
Yes.
And so it's something that I've learned to live with.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I told a couple of people, you guys just wake up and make me popular, for things that I've not even done. Okay. I, I remember a couple of times I'm not even in the country,
Yes.
and then something is happening somewhere, and then you go to Facebook, and what you're
Yeah.
hearing is I'm the reason why that thing is happening. You know, and meanwhile I am like 10,000 kilometers away from that. So I've come to embrace, the good, the bad that comes
Mhm.
with this job that we do.
Yes.
Secondly, the reason why I am almost everywhere else is because I make myself available.
Okay.
And 98% of the time I spend my money to go there.
Hmm.
Okay, which is open to every other board member to do. Unfortunately, Some board members will not do that because they don't make themselves available, or they think it is expensive to do that without being compensated by the board. And make notes. I said 98% of the time, which means that 2% of these times, you know, I go there and I get paid. Okay. But the question is, how much do I get paid? I want to be able to share it with all of us so that people will understand what we are doing and the sacrifices that we're making. Okay, just to make sure that one tournament holds and it holds very well. Okay, so this is what happens. I go to Lagos for a competition that is held by the federation, you know, and then assuming that as a supervisor in that competition, I am paid 150,000.
Yes.
Okay, for being a supervisor. So when I leave Abuja to go to Lagos, I fly to Lagos and I pay 120,000 for my going. I pay another 120,000 for my coming back. I stay in a hotel that I pay 25,000 per night for 7 days. Okay, and then I eat. So by the time you calculate the 150,000 that I'm giving, and then the close to 400 and something thousand that I've spent to go there, you will know that plenty people will not want to do that. Okay, so that is what people do not understand. Okay, so it is open for everybody to go as a board member. As a board member, our first obligation is service. Okay, but the question is, how many people are ready to serve? So there's a lot of talk that he's always everywhere. But like I told you, even before I became a board member, I've always been going to competitions.
Yes.
You know, so those days we used to sleep in corridors or in somebody's room just for us to be there. Okay, so it's something that I've done when I didn't have. Now that I have small, it doesn't. I don't even think about it. The places I can drive myself to, I just buy fuel and drive to the place, and then do the things that I've been doing for 17 years before now. So people see me. I love basketball. That's why people see me everywhere. It's not because somebody's paying me to go there. For the 3-on-3, let me refresh some of our memories.
Yes.
I started organizing 3-on-3 in ABU's area close to 20 years ago.
Wow.
I'm saying it now because the people that attended that competition, Okoro and Fati 3-on-3. That's the name of the 3-on-3. 20 years ago, not today. Okay, I've attended plenty 3-on-3 courses. I'm the only certified 3-on-3 coordinator as of now after Mr. Frank Jitubo in Nigeria.
Wow.
Okay, so it's not just because we want to do it. Okay, we actually try to do the things that are under it. To do it. If you Google my name, Scotland basketball, you see my name under that 3-on-3 chart.
Yes.
You understand? So it's not just Nigeria. We're doing it globally. But see, because people see you and they know you, okay, they just tend to say, why be say everything at this guy?
Yeah.
There's a lot to do before you are handed responsibility by the president that we have. You understand? He doesn't just wake up and give you, you're my boy, I go and do it. You must be competent. He must have seen that you can deliver. And
Yeah.
the way it is, I have gone for those 3-on-3 competitions. The first one I went for, the All African Games, we came back with silver. I've not seen people calling my name or and saying that, but you did well. The only thing they did was, you see, what is Okoro doing in this place? Does he merit to be there? But I went there and I came back with silver. I went to Senegal with the under 16 team and I came back with gold. Is anybody talking about it? Everybody's behaving like they didn't see it, they didn't well, but these are things that even the people outside the country are recognizing me for.
Mm.
Okay, so we do not do things because it's just there to be done. There are
Yeah.
courses that you have to undergo, to become satisfied, to be eligible to to represent the country in this kind of 3-on-3 and the rest. Okay, so people do not know that. They do not want to even do research. All they are looking for is story to be talked about. But you see, I've gone beyond that. I've grown. My skin is very thick, and I do not listen to the negatives. I only listen to things that will make me better. And that is what I have learned in all these years.
Yeah.
Before you ask the next question, you were talking about me traveling with the national team.
Yes.
There was a time I was not traveling with the national team.
Okay.
Have people forgotten that there's a phase in life? We used to go for national camp, and out of 50 people in the camp, I used to be the only person that will not travel.
Wow.
Everybody is saying this interview. I
Yes.
used to be the only person in the national team that that I will do the whole work that has to be done. And when the time comes to travel, you know,
You will not.
I will not travel. Yes. But nobody talks about that. And I'm not telling you once, twice, three, or five times. So I'm telling you this happened like 7 to 10 times.
Mm.
But every time I will still go back and do what is required
And
of
still
me.
do the work.
Yes. You know. So now that we have reached the point where that there's a space available for me to travel, not because it is out of pity,
Yes.
okay, but because I did a course as of 2020 when we had COVID.
Yes.
Okay, the FIBA required that every national federation must have a biosecurity officer.
Biosecurity.
Yes, so I did the course, and then it was mandated that every time the team traveled, the biosecurity officer must travel because we had things that we have to do with the national team concerning COVID test, and some other, things that they have taught us so that we will make sure that every member of the team is safe from the different instructions that have been given by FIBA.
Yes.
That's when I started traveling because I did the course and then I was the only biosecurity officer in Nigeria. So when the male team traveled, I traveled with them. When the female team traveled, I traveled with them. That is how I started traveling. You know, so everybody looks at it as, oh no, he's the president's boy. That's why he's there. I have never traveled because I was the president's boy. I have always traveled because I had a function to do for the national team.
Yeah.
And that is how it has been.
All right. I mean, this conversation is getting as interesting as it is. So the next thing that I like you to talk about is something that comes up a lot. You know, when I say come up a lot, I mean it's on everybody's lips, which is the federation not having money. You know, whenever either they are traveling for a tournament or when people say there's no league, that statement comes up a lot. The federation has no money. And then people are always asking, if the federation has no money, how come they are traveling for national tournaments and then they don't have money to run the local league? And also, um, it is said a lot that the president uses his personal funds to run some of these programs. Does he get a refund after he uses his own personal money, or is he doing it out of goodwill and charity, and then he just forgets about it after?
Okay, so first of all, we must understand that the federal government of Nigeria only funds the federation when they have international tournament.
Okay,
There's no funding for the federation when it comes to the league or other local activities.
events.
You know, those yes, those monies have to be sourced by the federation to to um, to execute those projects. Okay,
Mm.
so I know for a fact that from 2017 when we came to become the Nigerian Basketball Federation board,
Yes,
that was, if you guys remember very well, there was no handover that was done, to the board.
yes, yes. In 2018.
And immediately, yes, immediately the federation came in. We had like three competitions back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
The ladies had to go to Mali. That's where they won their first of the series of three other Afro basket
Basketball.
that they have won. Yes, the men had to go to Tunisia almost immediately and came second. And
Mm.
then after that, that's when we started preparing for the World Cup tournament qualifiers that we had.
Mhm.
Okay, so I need to clarify some things to everybody that really wants to understand what has been happening in the Nigerian Basketball Federation.
Yeah.
Before 2017, the Nigerian Basketball Federation used to go to only two or three tournaments in the whole year. In fact, in 2 years before 2017, okay, the male team used to play like one competition in this year, and then the next tournament that they will play might be 1 year after. As as at 2017, FIBA changed everything, and that's when you started hearing about qualifiers or Olympic qualifiers, World Cup
Yeah.
qualifiers, which meant that yes, which meant that in a year, our national teams could play like 3 to 4 international games for the
Yeah.
men and 3 to 4 international games for the female.
For the,
Yes, which is very, very money consuming.
mm.
So before 2017, the ministry never used to get all those letters that, oh, we are going for a competition, and then we have another one next month for the men, and then 2 months later we have another one for. It never used to be like that.
Mm.
Okay, so all of a sudden these things started happening, and now this is where the problem is. They find that the international federation will fine you for not coming for the competition is almost, the monies that you used to go for the
The same
competition.
amount you spend if you go.
Yes. So what is the wisdom? Did you just sit at home and then allow them fine you?
Mm.
And then by the time they fine you for not coming for two competitions, the next thing you're going to hear is either a ban or a suspension.
Yes.
So as of 2017, we had issues with funding. The president called meetings, asked board members to look for sponsors and the rest. And then nobody could come up with sponsors or funding for the federation. And then the president, in his own wisdom, decided to look for his own personal resources and then and did mortgage a couple of his own properties to make sure that he got monies to push the federation up forward.
Mm.
You know, with an understanding that he was going to be refunded.
Yes.
As I speak to you, 5 years after, I'm just fast forwarding everything for you. 5 years after, the money that the president has spent, if they pay him back today, he would have lost the value of half the money that he spent.
Mm.
So give or take, if he's paid today, he's going to lose the value of the monies. So assuming that he spent 100,000 kobo,
Yes.
if they pay him today, he would have lost like 60,000 kobo of his own monies. So what he would be going home with, will be like virtually he has just dashed out 60,000 of 100,000.
Yeah.
That is how it stands today. So I don't think it will change because if you change dollars at 150 and now you're changing dollars at 1,650, okay, you will know the loss that you have incurred.
Mm.
At that point, and then nobody is going to be telling you that no, revalue the money at the present. Listen, what they're going to be
Yes.
telling you that okay, we are going to pay you based on what you gave us 5 years ago. So as it stands now, the man has lost his money. Whether he wants to collect it or he doesn't want to collect it, he has lost that money. That money is gone. Okay. Concerning our leagues, is not for lack of efforts of trying to get sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we have had a lot of sabotages within the family.
Within the
You
basketball
understand?
family.
So between the basketball family and internally in the board.
Hmm.
You understand? So you go and meet XYZ company, and then you're talking to them about sponsorship, and then you guys you're at about 90% completion, and then somebody from the board goes back to go and tell them that they should not put in their money, that the money will be squandered. And these are people that we all respect, that we think that these are the men that are doing everything to make sure that basketball grows in Nigeria. Those are the
Hmm.
people that go behind to sabotage almost everything that we do. Okay, let us not forget that by 2017, when we came in, there was a court case that lasted for almost 3 to 4 years.
Hmm.
That was instituted by people now that are parading themselves and telling us that they are saviors of Nigerian basketball. You know, and and till today, this very moment that me and you are talking, these same people
Yes.
are still trying to sabotage everything that the federation does.
Yes.
Only to come back and say the federation is not doing well. So I wonder what kind of spirits that they're using. And then I would have loved for these same people to to actually resign from the federation to show
Hmm.
that they really mean what they say. If you're in a place and the place is rotting, won't you leave the place?
You leave.
Why are you sitting tight and then going behind and telling people that the way we are sitting is rotting? These same people, we will do meetings in the board and then they will say, everybody come and contribute your quota so that we can get things to be done. And as soon as that is said, you will never see them again.
Hmm.
Only for them to come and be claiming that they don't know what is happening in the board because there's a consensus that look, oh, we don't have money to run the league. Let every board member contribute money so that we can gather money, and then whatever is remaining, we ask maybe the president or somebody else to help us top it up. You will not see them again. You know,
Hmm.
I'm telling you, and these same people they are running around the whole country and saying the federation is not doing anything. What they are actually telling you is that they're not doing anything.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
that's what
but
they're
that's
saying.
another. A lot of you guys. By you guys, I mean you people on the board. You always agree that you are part of the problem, but nobody is, coming up with a visible solution to the problem that we are all admitting exists.
So the people that keep on telling you that they're part of the problems are actually the problems that we have. Okay, they come out and then try to make it look like, oh, let me not say anything. Oh, even me, I'm the problem. Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that you don't think, well, yes, they are the ones that are our problem in Nigerian basketball. Okay, they
Interesting.
go everywhere. They go everywhere trying to tell you that this other person is bad. The
Mm.
next question you should ask them is that what have you physically done to make sure that things are done right in the
The way it should
federation,
be.
apart from sabotaging the things that are being done.
Mm.
How can you be doing a competition and then one of the biggest men in the federation is complaining that the line is not straight? I don't know whether you understand.
Yes.
You understand? As petty as saying that the line is not straight. What will stop basketball to be played if the line is not straight?
Mhm.
It's because he has looked and looked and looked. There's nothing to complain about.
Mm.
So he starts complaining that the line is not straight. So that is how petty, okay, these people have been. And that is the
Yes.
reason why. You keep hearing them versus us.
Mm.
Okay, the question is, who are the them and who are the us? Okay, the them are they the people that are trying to, despite how hard things are. Okay, the thing is, let us just make something happen so that these kids don't stay at home, don't sit down, don't get paid because we're not doing anything.
Mm.
So the people that shout the loudest are the people that try to make sure that nothing happens.
Wow.
Okay, let me give you a current example. As we stand now, we
Yes.
are supposed to be playing Division 2 in all the zones.
Yes.
In one of the zones in Nigeria, the zonal, let me, how do I put it? The chairman of that zone is sabotaging the Division 2 tournament.
Wow.
As we speak, I'm not telling you that it happened last year. Now, this the same person that goes around and tells you that he's trying to make sure that basketball is played everywhere. That is what he lives for. The Division 2, they're sabotaging it. We are supposed to do the Division 2 in Adoki.
Mm.
They called the coach there and told him that he should collect money from the federation to pay for the floor. And adult court, that he should collect money for the federation to pay for the adult court that they're going to use. I'm not
Wow.
I'm not telling you I'm not telling you that I am assuming this thing. I have voice notes, to this.
Yeah. So Division 2 zonal qualifiers is going on currently.
It's going on correctly. That they're going to be playing in Katsina by next week. They just finished in Umaya, my state where I'm chairman, for the southeast. South South is going to be playing very soon. Northeast just finished their own too in Meduguri.
But it seems there was no public communications, to let people, because usually there should be like maybe a letter, or a post from the federation to say this is going to start from
Yeah.
this period. And
So normally, how Division 2 is done, because Division 2 is like our grassroots program for the men.
yes,
Okay, so we allow the states play within themselves and then produce two teams.
okay,
Okay, the states that do not have plenty of teams,
we
we
just
come up with two teams. Yes, at the end of the day, and then for each of the zones, everybody goes to one venue and play to qualify for the conference. So it's at the conference that the NBBF takes over.
okay,
So that is where you start getting the publicity and everything.
okay,
At the zonal level, we allow the chairman of the states and then the coordinators of the states, as they like to own their own tournaments.
oh, okay,
So when they qualify for the conference, that is when NBBF takes over, starts doing their adverts, starts paying the referees, table officials, and everything.
okay,
So even at the zonal level, that's what I'm telling you. Because in my state, I coordinated with all the chairmen in the southeast to make sure that we got it done. And then
Yes.
I had the chairman of Imo State, you know, help me coordinate it.
Mm.
Even though it was done in my state, the chairman of Imo State coordinated for me. That is what we do for ourselves.
Yes.
So imagine we go to another zone, and then the zonal representative that is inside the NBBF is the one telling them what to do so that they will sabotage what NBBF is doing. So the question is, who are they actually sabotaging? Is it not the boys and the children that are supposed to be playing this division too?
That I've not had any playing opportunity since the beginning of the year.
Yeah. So see, when you're trying to do something that is bad, you do not, and your reason doesn't allow you look at it properly.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, if you do the calculation, close to 170 kids in that zone will not be playing basketball because of one person's selfishness, or how do I put it? And I have the voice note. And then we still have a couple of people that are trying to make sure that, look, oh, we are going to play our own grassroots program, even if we have to pay for it by ourselves.
Mm.
You know, so these things that we do it out of love. A whole lot of people are doing it because they think that it is an end to a means, or whatever it is.
Mm.
So we are not all in the same league. As much as I want to contribute my own quota to make sure that basketball grows, I must not be doing it at the detriment of these kids that are growing up. Because I do not like somebody. So what we do is beyond ourselves as individuals.
Yeah.
Like my oga will always say, everything you do, make sure you're looking at the bigger picture. And then
Mm.
what is the bigger picture? The bigger picture are the players.
Yeah.
So sometimes I will not like you, but because what we are going to do is going to affect some other kids, I will have to throw away my ego, come down to your level, work with you, listen to what you have to say, and then after we finish and then the kids are happy, we can go back and wear our egos and then continue our fight.
Yeah.
But unfortunately now, it has gone beyond that. People do what they do without even thinking that we need to support these kids. We need to do what we have to do to make sure that these kids also have their own future.
Mm.
Because right now we already have our own future. It's how we make it, it's what we do, it's how we do it that is going to be determinant for us as individuals.
Yeah.
So as soon as we stop saying us and them, as soon as we stop saying I am part of the problem, and start being part of the solution.
Yeah.
We are still going to be in those waters that we do not know how how to test the depth. Because there's one adage that says that you do not test the depth of a well with two legs.
Yeah.
You have to first test with one leg to see how deep it is before you take the other one.
Yeah. For you, one leg.
So unfortunately for us in our federation, we have
Yes.
people that are bound, that are sworn that they will never see anything good in the federation as long as they're not the ones that are championing the cup. And that is very unfortunate as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Indeed, this is very unfortunate because if there's division from the head, which is the board members at the federation level, then it means there's no hope for the people, the rest of the people in the ecosystem of the basketball family. Yeah. So, but I hope I hope that we're able to get things right soon enough. Um, Somebody once told me that I should stop hoping. That hoping is for that we have been hoping for too long. That we should start doing. Well, I,
I, I, I I agree with that too. I agree with
mm,
that too. you
yes,
know, and then I think everybody everybody must see people for who they really are.
Mm.
Okay, we know a lot of people that know the truth, but because of one thing or the other, they have decided to throw the truth away, and then they just live on propaganda.
Mm.
You know, and I say it times that number. You don't have to like me,
Yes.
okay? But beyond whatever it is that you think, look at the things that we do, look at the sacrifices that we make, and then ask yourself if you're in the same shoes, whether you'll be willing to do the same things.
Yeah.
So my own what I've done for basketball, I will leave for people to judge.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, but see, at the end of the day, I need to go home and be able to sleep and know that I have tried to do what I can or what I could, you know, when I had the opportunity, to make sure that a whole lot of people benefited from this game that we are all benefiting from.
Yeah.
So the only reason why you say people know me is because I play basketball. And I know the privileges that I've gotten because I played basketball. So why will I not want other people to get those same privileges? And all we have to do is just an enabling environment for them to play basketball. That's all they need.
Mm.
So even if I have an ambition, why do I want to pull you down? Because I want to climb up.
Yeah.
All I need to do is build my own ladder and then climb with my own ladder instead of trying to pull down your own ladder,
Yeah.
so that people will not see you anymore. And then, you know, because you're not there anymore, they will not have a choice but to go with me.
Hmm.
I do not think that that is how we should be living in this our basketball environment. This is not the politics of basketball should not be a do or die affair.
Yeah. So thank
You
you
know,
very much. I think is it's almost time to wrap up. I'm hoping that we will still bring you up again. Maybe after my viewers watch this episode, I'm sure they'll maybe have a couple of questions that they might want to ask. So if I put all of that together, we'll find time to still invite you and bring you on. So to wrap things up, I'll ask you two questions. The first one is what what is the benefit of being a board member? Like, do you guys get stipends or what's the work? How do you get rewarded for your service? And then the second question is, what should we expect in terms of basketball for the rest of the year? Like, how is the league structure going to? Is it going to be like what we had last time for the men's league and the women's league, or is it going to be any different? And yeah.
so let me just clarify this. As a board member, I get paid zero kobo.
So you're doing a lot's
You
work.
know, so that's why, like I said before, I mean, being a board member is just service to the nation at the capacity where we find ourselves.
So if it's just service like that, why are people killing themselves to get on the board?
So it is a question I also want to ask. Those people that are backbiting people and killing people just because they want to get on the board. Is that something that they know that we do not know?
Hmm.
So it's a question. It's a real question to ask. Why is
Yeah.
people jumping around the country and trying to sell themselves? Okay, what is there? Is it not this same board that we are all in, where I have traveled, like 3 or 4 times, and I've never gotten paid?
Wow.
I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying.
I'm trying to.
So I'm saying it. Okay, so sometimes people think that there's something that is crazy that is there. You guys are making money, and then I'm looking at everybody because you do not answer people in their ignorance.
Hmm.
You know, So
Yeah.
this is what I told a lot of people that this thing that you're looking at that you think there's money inside. I think you should try and come inside and come and see.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't stay from outside and then you're pointing fingers. Come inside. and come and make all the money that you think is available to be made.
Wow.
Because like you have asked, a lot of people think there is money to be made. Nobody's thinking about service to the nation. So
Yeah.
when you're pushing yourself to serve the nation, people are thinking, Nalayo, there must be something inside. That's why he's doing it.
Yeah.
But I've clarified it today that before 2017, I have been doing this thing when nobody was
Yeah.
paying me anything.
Mm.
So for me, it's nothing. It's like how you wake up and then go to the bathroom to bath. That's how it is for me.
Mm.
I wake up and go to Kaduna to go and watch BAM. I don't know whether you understand. I go there and watch BAM for a whole day and then come back to Abuja. Does anybody look at it and say, this man went there? Or do they think that somebody sends me to those places? I go to Macaulay and then they're playing a local championship and I go there to go and watch. I still do it till today. So it's not really about NBBF tournament or not NBBF tournament. For me, it's about basketball. So tomorrow we are going to be under the sun for the under CDS under 18.
Yes.
I plan to be there. So nobody has to pay me to go and watch good basketball. Once it's close to me, once it's convenient for me, I'll go. So that is that for being a member of the federation.
Yeah.
So what was your second question, please?
So what are we expecting from the federation in terms of basketball for the rest of the year? The men's league, is it
Okay.
going to be the same format? Is it going to be 1 week? And the women's league also, is it going to maintain the same format?
So I'm just going to answer you as honestly as I can. For the men's Premier League, I'm not in the committee, but I
Mm.
know that the committee has been having series of meetings, and then they're also trying to bring out a new robust format for the men's league. But you see, after all said and done, the question is going to be: everybody cries that we need a robust league, we need the league to last for 3 to 4 months or 5 months. The truth about the matter is, these teams that nobody talks about, do the teams have money to run the league for that long?
Mm.
You understand? So when you are leading people, you must also try to
I
listen to
heard
them.
allegedly that it was even the teams that agreed to do the 1 week league last season.
They had a meeting, yes, they had a meeting, and the teams were saying that they didn't have money. Let them do this, let's just do this one and then finish up like this. Okay, but see,
Mm.
the larger population of the other peoples, and then some of the other peoples that know the truth are the ones
Yeah.
that will go back and start saying that NBBF cannot run a league every time they're doing 1 week league. But the truth is, the committee sat down with the team owners, and then they agreed, and that's why what happened last year happened. So if this year the committee comes out with a robust league that will last for 3 to 4 months, my own
Mm.
question as a stakeholder is that I hope that the teams will be ready to push this
To
through.
sustain. Mm.
Yes. Okay. For the Zenith League, I know that everything is set for the Zenith League. 2 days ago, I saw the letter that came out for the Zenith League, and then a couple of teams have called, to the federation to see if they can move the first phase to a later date based on one or two things. And I think that the federation is looking at it from the level of the secretariat,
Okay.
to see if they can adjust, yes, adjust, the date by a couple of days or not.
Yeah.
And then I also know that the women's division one will happen for the first time this year.
Mm.
So all the other and then the division one, like the president has said, is going to be like our grassroots program for the women.
Okay.
So we are going to open up to a lot of teams. We already have close to 14 existing teams in the Division One. We're going to open it up to more teams that are ready to come in, and then we will look at the conferences and then put them in a way that they will not be traveling too far to play
Okay.
against themselves. And then at that point in time, we will have something for the elite women and then for the junior women, just to make sure
Oh,
that everybody's interest is served. you know. So I know that the federation is trying its best to make sure that all competitions at various levels are going to be played this year.
okay.
So we are just looking at the timing to just make sure that nobody is overlooked this year from Division Two to Division One to the Premier League.
So it means the
All
second half
hands on deck.
is going to be packed with a lot of events from the federation.
Yes. From now to December, there's going to be back to back to back, championships, leagues, and the rest till the end of the year.
All right. I really look forward to it. I'm hoping that it happens like that. Because a lot of people have been waiting for things like that to happen. So that they either can get engaged, as officials, as players, as coaches, even as fans. Because a lot of people, like you mentioned, a lot of people like to enjoy watching basketball. So I'm really hoping that it will happen as you have mentioned. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate. Except you have something else that you want to add.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is for me. This is a public appeal to all our stakeholders that you know the best that we can do for basketball is for us to come together as one. Even though we have our own individual differences,
Yes.
you know, but we can actually put that aside and then look at how to help push basketball forward. We have a couple of people in the country that have that have been doing very well in that regards. Trying to just do basketball without politics. So as we are now, if we can really commit ourselves to do basketball and forget this politics aspect of it, forget our own personal ambitions, I think that the dream that we had in 2017, that
Mm.
basketball would be the top most game in Nigeria. As we stand now, we're not far from it. All we
Yeah.
just need is our minds to be reset, is for us to start looking at ourselves as brothers instead of enemies, you know, so that when I go to Lagos, I can function properly. When the Lagos person comes to Abuja, he can function properly, and then get all the help that he needs to function from anybody that he meets. And then you find out that these questions that we keep asking, these little things that we have done to ourselves that has kept us under, will be trashed out, even without anybody, looking like the victim.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, we can come as in one accord and say, look, oh, please, you come and head us and we will back you. It can be anybody, but once you have the support of everybody,
Yeah.
you find out that it's going to be easy for you to succeed.
Yeah.
So that's my appeal, please. Let's come together, forget all these our personal problems, and then put basketball in front. And I think Nigeria will become great again.
All right. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session, and I don't take you for granted. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, I can never pay you for the time that you have spent on this show now. So I'm really grateful, and thanks for your support. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
have you again sometime soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the rest of
Yes,
your evening.
thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, sir. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope it was enlightening. I hope it was educative. I mean, it's still ringing in my head. How come these people are always trying to get on the board, and there's zero there's zero reward for all the things they do, and then why are they always struggling to get there? I mean, it's getting more interesting because if they are not ready to leave and they are not getting any reward, there has to be there's a loop somewhere. I mean, it doesn't. I'm trying to make it make sense, but I don't know if it's just me. Anyways, thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed this session and see you on the next one. Please make sure to leave comments and questions and suggest who you want to see next on the show and what you want me to ask them. Thank you very much and see you on the next one. Bye, everybody. Bye.